Hey, how's it going, folks? Welcome to the Coach's Corner, live here at Benchwarmers Restaurant and Delivery. We got a packed house here, actually a packed patio here. As joining me this week, special guest, head coach of the Tiffin Columbian Tornadoes, Judd Lutz. How we doing, Coach?
Doing great.
This is, probably one of the biggest regular season matchups that I've seen at Frost-Kalnow Stadium since I've been covering football here in Tiffin and Seneca County. Last time you guys met, 2020, was the state semifinal. We won't talk about that. It's long in the past.
We got smoked. If you weren't there, we got smoked.
We were there. We were there. We remember. I remember how cold it was, too. Greggy remembers how cold it was. Greggy came up and thawed out at halftime during, and he was like, my bones are stiff.
Yeah. I really don't. This is crazy. I really don't remember being cold. I swear to you.
It was
I remember a whole lot of other things that were uncomfortable. Yeah. But I don't remember being really cold. They were really good then, like really, really good. I think they, we have the running clock in football with you're up 30 in the second half. They running clocked every opponent except for in the state finals against DeSales. Man, yeah. So they were quite the team.
Yeah, absolutely. And, they look like they're got a pretty potent lineup as well this year. 1-0 coming off a 35-0 win over West Geauga. What's the mindset going into this week?
Do the little things. Make the most important thing the most important thing. Discipline, discipline, discipline. Do your job, and embrace your role. And they do things differently on offense and defense in a lot of ways than most teams, and so preparation's been key. The first couple days here, it's dang near impossible to symbolize and give a great look exactly at the speed and physicality that they're going to give you, obviously, because they're really good at doing it, and they've been doing it, talking to people. They've run the same offense from their biddy leagues all the way up for 40-some plus years, except for maybe a couple years blip in there and here and there. So these kids know what they're doing, and it shows. And so asking our kids to put together a scout team and do it, over a weekend of prep maybe or a day of prep is difficult, but our kids are up to the challenge, and they've done a great job already.
Yeah, speaking of this week with Chardon, I know we talked earlier about how your seniors were only freshmen that back in 2020 when you guys played in the state semis. But is there anything that you can maybe help going into this game that you can take from 2020's game?
I'll tell you, the game plan's a little different. The same things you saw on film and, were interested in back in 2020, why were you interested in them, and can you reflect, and were they, not good because, I was just wrong on this, guy's assignment, and it was actually this necessarily, and so we didn't take advantage, or was that just player better than our player at that point? We still like it. So there's definitely some reflection in a lot of ways. And, without getting into the weeds too much, there's always experience. You hope it's from a good experience, but there's also experience from negative things too. So
from a team standpoint, talk about what kind of preparations go into a game like this. Do you just treat this like any other game, or are you guys pulling out all the stops in this week too, going for this win? Because obviously you got to keep some of the stuff under wraps for league play. You're trying to save a little bit of this, but this is a big game.
It's a big game, absolutely. And there's been if you have the opportunity, and I'm not saying I did or do, to get tape on someone from previous years and have a great deal amount of time to prepare for that, then you do so. And so if that means you have games from previous years and have had 4.5 to 5 months to prepare for it, then you would. I'm not saying I did that. But if, you had that opportunity, you would put in that kind of work if you're a good football coach.
That's right. And, we happen to have a pretty good one here. So talk about this Hilltoppers team. This is a tough roster. They had a 26-game win streak snapped last year. Their reign of back-to-back state championships came to an end. What do you think is the biggest reason for their sustained success?
I think they're tough, and I think they train that way. I think they play that way. I think they coach that way. I think they practice that way. And then, they have, I think, a great off-season program that they maximize their talent and their DNA of their kids, and they have a good deal amount to choose from. They're from a tradition-rich program that's been doing things well for a long time. So it's a great mix. You have a community who gives a crap about athletics, that has dads and uncles and people who have kids coming up in the program that it was very similar back then, and so they take a great deal amount of pride in it. And not in a whole lot of places do the people just go with the coach and trust in the coach, and we're going to have the coaches back or the teachers back and things. Sometimes you have the helicopter parents or snowplow parents that want to come to the rescue and, fix things. And I don't think they have a great deal of that. And I'm sure there's stuff. Every place has stuff. But I just talking to Coach Hewitt and what he's built, he loves where he's at, and he cherishes it and defends it in a great deal amount of energy and attitude.
I mean, it's one thing to win a state title, but back-to-back state titles, that's hardly ever been done before. And they were the first team in OHSAA history to go 16-0. I mean, when you break it down, it's been one of the most successful programs in the state under Mitch Hewitt. What do you think is the strength of this year's Hilltoppers team, and how do you guys plan on stopping them?
The strength, I think, they're similar in a lot of ways to their, previous years and what they do schematically probably. I think, they have really 3 dudes on offense they can hand the ball off to that are really threatening as far as, breaking tackles and also speed-wise. 2 kids who are really fast in the perimeter. And they got a quarterback who can run it and throw it, and behind a really physical and big offensive line that's going to make for a great mix. And defensively, they're long, they're fast, they're physical, they fly around to the football, and they're really active. It's really hard to symbolize just how active they are on defense with their different looks and blitz packages and alignments and stuff. And so what is their strength? I think they're really similar to probably most of their teams and what they do, and that's the culture that they've built. And obviously